Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are continuing on with doing space stations. Notably, we have the Subspace Relay. Uh, Looking here on Daystrom's website here, we'll get through our read through first, and we'll kind of go on from there. So the Federation issued a requirement for a new design of subspace communications relay stations in 2352 in order to replace the Mark 6 then in production. The requirement called for a station capable or able to handle more than three times the information flow capacity as the Mark 6 and to include all of the latest and projected scrambling and encryption systems. In addition, the new station would include a higher accommodation standard and would require less frequent resupply stops. The design proceeded smoothly, and the first stations were completed in 2354 and added to the network later in the same year for a 1 year trial period. The relay performed flawlessly, and by the late 2355 series production had begun. By 2364, some 500 stations per year were added to the network, and by 2370, this had risen to 1,250. In service, these stations have proved to be highly reliable and effective. With the advent of the Dominion War, many of the relay stations adjacent to combat zones had been relocated in order to prevent the Dominion from destroying them outright. Many of these had been put into storage until the end of the war, but most have been relocated to improve coverage in the hitherto low priority areas. So that's all the write up that we have here. Um, I forget the name of the episode that this was really debuted in, where we get to see Geordie LaForge um, try and solve a mystery of what had happened on board the relay station, where there's only two crew member on board the station. So, looking at it here, this is from the Prime Timeline unit run. In all, they're saying that 14,372 were built. 21 of them have been lost in all. Began production or commission in 2355 until present. We do have a depth of 20 meters, a span of 100 meters, a height of 90 meters, and it has 24 decks. Uh, the mass here is 8,600 metric tons. We do have a crew member comp, capacity of two. There's no weapons on board the system, or no armaments for defending itself from other ships. Let's see. Defense, we actually have a duranium titanium single hull. There's a low level structural integrity field. There's no docking facilities. Space relay, not capable of independent movement outside of any altitude control and or orbital adjustment only. So going through our strength indexes and all that, the only thing we have really listed is armor hull, which is 12.5 in comparison to the Galaxy class starship. Overall index strength index is a 1, diplomatic capacity is a 0, and expected hull life is about 50 years. With that being said, we have a minor and standard refit every 5 years and a major refit every 25 years. So that's all the information we have here from Daystrom's website. Now, trying to take this into our own D6 universe, we get to see what I have kind of created here. Some of it, kind of going through the stats, I may have to kind of tweak a little bit more the cargo capacity. I was kind of thinking it might be a little higher, but we'll kind of go through this and we will change things as we go through, like we normally do whenever I see that I slipped up here. So, being the Relay 47, which is the one that we had seen on the show and what we have pictured here, this is just going to be a simple relay facility, capital scale, length of 90 meters, width of 100 meters. I don't have the depth in there. Starship size, I'm not 100% certain where this falls under. offhand. This might actually be more of a Starship size 4. Um, so, whoops. Yeah, because I didn't take that out of there. All right, yes, this would be a Starship size 4. Uh, so, if I can get this all to work correctly, and there we go. Now, not knowing exactly how to put this, our skill I think would still be capital ship pilot, even though this is technically a space station. The crew capacity here. Now I have anywhere from 2 to 10. Um, this really because it was the station itself was more of a plot device, and throwing it out there, you might have maybe a training crew on there. So you might want to train people. So you might want to have a little extra so you can train people. So I did want to give it a little extra flexibility here. So that's the reason why I have from 2 to 10. Standard was probably going to be your 2, but could you get up to 10 for trying to do things, kind of ease the burden? Being on a space station with just two people after a while, that might take a little wear and tear on things. So I'm just throwing that out there. Now we do have a skeleton crew of 1 with a +5 to operate everything. I didn't want to really incur much of a issue here, but a little bit of okay. Well, you might have to run back and forth occasionally. All right. I did want to keep on there a passenger capability of 5. Now, this is the same reasoning when we had hit some of the defense platforms. I had put in there the ability to have passengers when you're trying to do work or other things there. There's a possibility maybe you have to drop someone off at a relay, subspace relay station so they can get picked up somewhere else. Now, with that also being said, I mean, we also have the transporters so we can beam people back and forth. They might be there for a week as we're trying to shuffle people around. So hopefully you don't have to take ships too far off their course for whatever missions that they are currently on. That is my reasoning behind that. Whether you agree or disagree, by all means, change it for what you need to do. Um, I don't have any problems with that. I'm just looking at it in those regards. So, cargo capacity, you just saw me kind of change that. Originally, it was 8,000 metric tons. That's a holdover from the regular one, which I used. That is just the basis for coming up with all of our stats as I went through piece after piece. Um, this is 24 decks tall. So I thought, well, maybe 8,000 metric tons between everything. But if it's only going to be listed as about like 8,000 metric tons worth of uh, weight all in all, that might be a little extreme there. So I just dropped that down to 800 metric tons. Honestly, I don't know how much cargo space you're going to need, and if you're saying you have two to maybe 15 people for a year, um, with the modern replicators and everything else, I really don't know how much room they're going to need. So that's a little bit of an unknown, and I'm willing to admit that. Um, so I'm just kind of leaving it go. We'll have 800 metric tons worth of cargo space for all the foodstuffs and everything else, so that way they can use the replicators and so on and so forth. Uh, just leaving it at that. Uh, as I had mentioned, we have consumables for 1 year. For the warp drive nav computer, there is none of those because it is not meant to go anywhere. It will be towed out to wherever it needs to be. It does have a maneuverability of a +1. Space speed is station keeping only, same as what we had on the regular one. The hull and shields, I left that from the regular one. I figured, we might be doing things a little bit better than what we did way back then. Thinking that we have some 80 years, was it 60, 80 years in between all these. Our construction capabilities might have improved. So a hull of 2D plus 2 and a shields of 2D plus 1, I don't think are all that unreasonable to think of it in those regards. Again, I kept the same sensor packet that we had from the regular one, so passively we can scan up to 3 kilometers. with a +1 bonus. You can do an active scan out to 7 kilometers with a +2 bonus. An active search out to 10 kilometers with a 1D bonus, and a focus out to 400 meters with a 1D +1. This is not really a science station or anything else. Regular one was just a research station. If they needed to upgrade their sensors to do other work, they could have done it. Here, they're just getting the subspace signals, getting those, and relaying them out to the next station. So I didn't think it really needed a really good sensor packet there, same as what we had seen on the regular one space station. So I left that be. Uh, all of the miscellaneous that we get here, uh, we we do have it listed as being 24 decks tall. Of course, this was commissioned in 2355 to the present. I borrowed the transporters from the Danube class, so we do have one transporter with the two-person capacity. Um, in complement, I figured we're going to have a single shuttle available for them in case things go awry, they have to leave. That gives them a way off. And I do have enough room, figuring that maybe if we have visiting ships, if they're just trying to get supplies back and forth, you might want two shuttles available. Um, Typically, I would say it's probably going to be transported over, but just for that oddball reason that something can't be done, we would want shuttles available. So that's the reasoning behind that. Now, whether you agree or disagree, you can always leave a comment down below. That's always wonderful. I enjoy hearing from everybody whenever they do leave comments. I'm always happy to reply whenever I can, and usually I find myself replying. Very rarely do I not. So even when it's going against my thoughts on this, because you know these are my thoughts and my takes on it. Not saying that I'm perfect on any of this stuff. I just give it my best. So hopefully you see it the same way. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Happy that you are here, and I will see you in the next video.